The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me to lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside the still waters. He restores my soul. He leads me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil. My cup run over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. What is there to say? God restores our souls. When we go through Psalm 23, it's just so emotionally wrought with everything you could ever go through. And it says, he restores my soul. Just think about it. King David, what kind of life did he live? We know he's a man after God's heart, but we know he also had blood on his hands. For instance, the husband of Bathsheba. He always had remorse, but he had blood on his hands. King David lived a life that is famed, absolutely famed, and he loved God. But he wrote here, he restores my soul. And then he leads me in paths of righteousness. What an encouragement for somebody like me. Yes, we are the saints, but somebody who needs some encouragement. You know, Romans 7, what will I do? It's in Jesus. The answer is in Jesus. But this beauty with which it's written, that it will restore my soul, being in communion with God. And then he leads me in paths of righteousness for his name's sake. So regardless of the mess, the turmoil, the tragedy, the pain, whatever you're going through, whatever I'm going through, he will lead us in paths of righteousness because of his name. And there are moments when, like the valley of the shadow of death, everyone experiences death. Everyone has somebody that they love that passes away. But I believe somebody like King David, the life he lived, having been a soldier, having been hiding, even from family at some point, I believe when he says, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. For your rod and your staff, they comfort me. That comfort in knowing that God not only protects us, but guides us. When tragedy really strikes, or when people are fearful, you know, they say you have a fight or flight response. You could be stuck in fear. You could be absolutely stuck in that moment. But I do not fear, because I have a purpose. I am led by my almighty God, a God that is so supernatural in the way that he moves. Whatever he wills, may it be so on the earth as it is in heaven, because it's perfect. His ways are perfect. The ways that he structures things, it's perfect. And it's just so interesting how the psalm flows. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. Deep. if your enemy doesn't have something to eat, feed him, for it will be like hot coals on his head. That's what springs to mind. But it's just interesting because this verse can be seen in a multitude of ways. But then that God, in this process of, I would say, sanctification as well, this process of sanctification through whatever we're going through, because we're constantly living. We're never on a little pause button. Okay, this is now this part of life, this part of, we're living. But that he anoints us in moments of struggle, or moments of weakness, or moments of loss. It's just incredible. He restores my soul. That's number one. Wow. This was so powerful to me. It's one of my favorite Psalms. It is just so full of amazing insight into God's character that it's beautiful to see, and I hope this was such a blessing to you. And I think also, just as a person, I understand I'm not King David. He was a king. He had a man in a different culture. It's so many variables that are different to myself. But although he be King David, elevated above who I am, in some of his struggles, I do read some of myself into it, and it encourages me a great deal to know that God called David his friend. One of two people that I'm aware of in the Bible that God says, my friend. And it's not that David was perfect, but God's love is perfect. And perfect love drives out fear. And for that reason, I believe David had such an open and honest relationship with God, because he had the fear of God, which is reverence, but not fear to feel like this relationship is done so. So it's incredible to think of. Have a beautiful evening.